What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling Hypothesis Podcast, where we break the hype, expose the truth, and expose the business what it really is today. Because if you ain't talking, I ain't watching. I'm your main man, Ricardo. My main man, Ava, is back. I miss this dude so much. Good to see you, my man. And
You are way too nice. You are way too nice, Ricardo. Thank you, guys. Always grateful and appreciative of being back on the show.
I can't front. I got fucks with my dog, King Kenny. What's up, big time?
Hey man, what's going on, guys? Alba, welcome back, bro. It's been too
Thank you,
damn
guys.
fucking long, man.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. Life
But
got in the way, guys.
Listen, man, just because you're back does not mean I'm gonna go easy on you, okay? All right.
Please.
So
Give me the smoke, man.
All right, bet. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, bro. So let's get it. So obviously
Let's do
the Royal Rumble just passed, and obviously the Royal Rumble winner was the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, top 5 all time. Just saying, right? But the bigger news is that outside of him winning the Royal Rumble, he actually called out WWE creative Triple H and others on the Pat McAfee show, validating and saying that WWE creative has not done their job. I'm paraphrasing also that the amount of times that Roman Reigns has not been available or has been available within the years after the years of the bloodline, that Triple H and others haven't been doing their job to its full potential. Now, before I give it to my guys, in the famous words of one of the greatest villains in Marvel history, Thanos, it's just like the quote says, "You couldn't live with your own failure. What did that bring you? Back to me," which is one of the most badass quotes I've ever heard of my life. Yep. Which resulting of Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. Fellas, what y'all think? Do you think Roman Reigns calling out Triple H was justified or even disrespectful?
Who's gonna start this off?
One of y'all start. One of y'all start.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All yours, Matt.
All right. So first and foremost, I don't think that the WWE didn't know what Roman was gonna say before he said it on Pat McAfee show. Now, this is just my thoughts. I don't know if that is true or not. All I do know is that for Roman to say something like that, I do believe that it had to be calculated to some degree. Now, I will say this. I've been saying this for months. Triple H is the worst booker I have ever seen. I'm sorry. We cannot unsee this. And I don't know if you guys saw or caught a glimpse of the post show, but when you have a Saudi crowd that the WWE thought that it's a friendly crowd, really, that they're just happy to get any wrestling content, right? Let alone a Big Four pay-per-view and the Royal Rumble. They thought that they could just come in and coast. And Saudi let them know. They chanted Y2J, they chanted AEW, they chanted Baldy. When Triple H was out there, they chanted "We want Vince," which I've said on this show that Vince was better than Triple H, right? And you fucked up. They fucked up this build. First of all, they fucked up this build. They fucked up everything leading up to the Rumble. And Roman saying what he said, right? In terms of, we haven't built any new stars. 3.5 years. He said 2 years. He was being fucking generous. It's been 3.5 years since Triple H took over the creative as head of.
Yes.
I have never seen a stretch where we go 3.5 years and has been no new star that has won a major championship for the first time. I haven't seen that. Can you remember that in the Vince era where Cena had the title for 3 years and no one else, no new star came in and won a championship? I don't. And that's the problem here, right? Is that in order for you to create new stars, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of notion out there that says you have to in order for you to create new stars, it has to be you have to calculate it, and it takes like 3 years. That's bullshit. In this business, you have to put people over. The days of grabbing the brass ring are over. Can't just, that doesn't work in this era. You have to give opportunities to the guys that deserve it, that've earned it.
Can you remind me real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to get this point across. Who was the one that said that it takes a certain number of years minimum for someone to truly get over a talent? Was it Cena, I believe?
That was Cena. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Cena.
it was him. Okay.
But I think it was basically pertaining to the heel run that he was trying to do.
Right. Yeah.
And him saying that a legitimate heel run takes that long to do, which I understand, because that storyline implication, that's separate. But I'm talking about, in order for you to make a star, like, think about it. Edge was instantly a star when he came in that night, right? After the Elimination Chamber match, came in that night and beat Cena. He was made. He was made. It was he basically solidified himself as the ultimate opportunist.
Yes.
And we know, and the rest was history after that. When Kevin Owens came onto the scene on the main roster, right? Pump up powerbomb Cena in the middle of the ring, stepped on the United States Championship. The people that didn't know who he was knew who he was at the end of the night. Star in the making, instantly. I can give you name after name after name after name after name. Sheamus, right? Another guy came onto the scene, beat Cena, instant star. What are we talking about here, man? Like, what are we talking about here? That's what's really, really, really breaking my nerves here. Like, it's guys like Trick, guys like Montez, guys like freaking Oba, guys like Javon Evans. You can make these guys start. Like, you can propel these guys into the main event scene and just leave them to, like, tell them to take you home.
Let them flourish. Right? Yeah.
Right. Give them the freedom.
Just give them the freedom. Put them in the main event scene and just step the fuck away. Get the fuck out the way. And you'll see exactly what we've been missing for the past 3.5 years. And that's what Roman Reigns is saying. He's saying, listen, as great as Tony Khan is, we got to keep up with the creative. We got to keep up with the creative. And that's a problem. That is a problem. I stayed away for 2 years and let y'all motherfuckers try to run shit. And look what happened. And now I got to deal with this shit. Now I got to take y'all from obscurity. I got to put y'all back in the main event scene because y'all ain't shit. Basically what he said.
Yeah.
Word for word. So this whole thing just reeks of mediocrity. It reeks of a lack of urgency that we haven't seen in a long time. Quite frankly, the reason why I believe Triple H is the worst booker ever is because he followed up one of the best bookers ever by doing the opposite thing of what he did. He got lazy.
He got comfortable.
He got lazy. And the reason for that is because he thought that the guys that Vince had in power, those are the same guys that he was going to work with. When you come in, like, think about it. When you take over a company, right, or a department, or a certain department, or if you're a head coach, you're going to fill in with your guys. Did Triple H do a real analysis of what this staff is, of what this actual writing staff is? Did he actually do a real analysis? Do it from a top-down analysis and look at it and critique it and say, hey, this is what we need help. This is what we don't need. This is what we need. This is what we don't need. Did he actually do that? Or did he say, you know what? The old regime, right? What Vince did, I'm going to take that. I'm going to hire some of my friends and we're going to figure this shit out. And you're seeing the result of that. Unreal. Oh, thank God for Unreal, right? Thank fucking God for Unreal. Unreal gave us all of that shit. And then some. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. I thank Roman Reigns for actually saying all of that shit because it needed to be said.
Okay, but before I continue with my thoughts, Kenny, going back to what you just said, that last comment, do you honestly believe that, going back to your very beginning, the very beginning of your of the discussion, what your points came across as, with WWE knowing beforehand that what Roman was going to say on the Pat McAfee show? Do you truly believe that? Like, they kind of filtered out a little bit of what he was going to say about critiquing Triple
he
H's
said he
regime?
didn't know. He said he didn't.
Oh, he didn't know.
Okay, he said he didn't know.
I said,
wanted to make sure.
No. I said, what I said was, I think the WWE knew exactly what Roman was going to say.
Okay. I mean in that sense. Okay, you mean in that sense, right?
Because here's the thing.
They had no control over it, but yeah.
I find it very hard to believe that they didn't know what Roman was going to say, and he said it, right? And they still went on and put him as the Royal Rumble winner. You get what I mean?
So you believe it's like a work. It's like a work.
Exactly. Like, think about it for us. Exactly. Like, I denigrate your whole company, right? I denigrate it completely. I threw everybody under the bus and say y'all ain't doing shit, right? And then at the Christmas party, you give me an award. You literally give me an award and praise me for the work that I've done. It don't make no sense. It makes no sense to me that the WWE wouldn't know, right?
Mhm.
If they knew, right, it would make more sense that they knew about it and then put him as the Royal Rumble winner. That's what I believe. That's what I think. Because if they didn't know and he said that, I don't think they would have made him the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I actually agree with to your point, Kenny, about literally everything you said. Honestly, pertaining to Roman's comments on the Pat McAfee show, just shitting and dogging on Triple H's past 3.5 years on this run as head booker of the company. I mean, if you really think about it, one of the biggest downsides and one of the biggest disappointing things about this Triple H era in his creative peak or in his creative run is that a lot of the stars that he's been putting head and shoulders and putting the big focus on their programming a lot of the time, it's really just the established stars carrying over from Vince's era. So we're talking, I mean, you could maybe argue everyone with the exception, arguably, of people like Cody and Gunther. Because yeah, they came towards the very tail end of Vince's time as the in charge of WWE and overseeing the creative side of things. But that being said, like Triple H was ultimately the one who had to carry that over into his era and book and continue that same strong booking of them as the top guys. Like, yeah, Gunther won the IC title, that historic to kick off his historic run 2 years as champion during Vince's time, but then a month later he was gone. So Triple H had to pick up the scraps and lead him into the next year and a half plus into making him the dominant superstar that we all know him as, that a lot of us knew him as long before that, with that UK title run he had at NXT. But it had to translate to the main roster. Vince had to take over at that point. Same with Cody. Cody just came back to the company, beat Seth Rollins 3 in their trilogy of matches, and then he got injured. That was the extent to which Vince handled his booking before he was ousted, rightfully so. Then Triple H had to take over, but anointed him as the next top superstar in the company. You know, once Roman was vanquished. And now we have Cody Rhodes as the champ, as the top baby face of the company, the face of your company, at least on a full-time basis, because Roman ain't around like that anymore. So I agree with, this is all to say that I do agree with a lot of what Roman says, but in the same vein, giving him, unless you say it's a work, unless we're all to be under the assumption that yes, this is all a work, Roman's comments pertaining to the creative, the how do you call it, the standstill with the creative process in this company, that they still gave him the Rumble win just to prove a point. Oh, you guys needed me 2 years, I was gone, I'm coming back and I'm taking the throne back from either Punk, Cody, or any other top guy, whoever has the championship. But otherwise, I don't, pertaining to the Rumble finish itself, I thought it was a good Rumble match, safe, predictable finish and outcome, yes, with Roman winning. But the thing is, I always believe that Roman, he didn't necessarily need the Rumble win this time around. I honestly think that if it's one of those things where if they saw fit to put Gunther in this match after the past month and a half run he's had for himself in retiring two of your biggest stars in the company, at least on the babyface side. Cena unquestionably is the biggest star they've probably ever had, besides Austin and Hogan and the like, and AJ Styles as of yesterday, and Saudi. Then like, why not just, and I didn't even think about him being in the Rumble, honestly. I didn't see it as a foregone conclusion unless they outright announced it, which maybe I missed that. But if they decided, you know what, let's have him pull double duty, I would have just personally just went all the way with him winning off the back of retiring AJ in that phenomenal match they had, no pun intended. So because it goes back to your point, what you brought up, what this discussion's about, where you're not making any stars, you're not legitimizing anybody brand new. Gunther is literally right there. Like he's someone who could use a nice Rumble win for himself and to make 2026 his year off the back of retiring Cena. That's why I honestly think, yeah, is it the biggest must-see box office match you can do in terms of attention and selling tickets? Not if you're comparing Gunther to Roman, it's apples to oranges. But that being said, like you gotta, I guess, strike while the iron's hot. You gotta keep that momentum hot and strong for someone like Gunther, because he has a lot of heat right now as we speak, retiring off the back of retiring Cena and AJ in back-to-back months. So personally, I would have just had Gunther. I would have went all the way with Gunther and his momentum. He's honestly hasn't had all that much in the past year and a year plus or so. And you want to build him back up after the up and down 2025 he had, losing to Jey Uso at WrestleMania and the like, not having the strongest world title run in terms of his booking and his opponents. So you got to build him back up to the way things have been.
I completely agree with you in terms of what you say. I think that's actually a great idea based on what you said in terms of relationship to Gunther, because it makes the most sense based off the consistency that they did with Gunther for the past 2.5 months. So I'm not knocking that. But I believe two things can be true. I believe that if it is possibly a work, it could be, and or that it wasn't a work and he just strictly called them out, because it goes to show you where how little work that Triple H is really doing as head of creative. Because like I personally believe, I think we could all agree here, if you just swap places and Vince was running with the new guys today with Triple H, Saudi Arabia will be sold out. That's number one. They'll be sold out. That's number one. Number two, nobody would be questioning on who would be getting pushed, because it would only be a matter of time within the roster, both men and women's. That's number two. Number three is that, like, just from a creative standpoint, this is how you know, and this is how it buffers Kenny's point in terms of what he's talking about. And this small little segment pissed me off at the time. You got Jey Uso coming down the Rumble from the stands, right? This pissed me off so bad. Jey Uso is coming down from the stands, doing his yeet fest, whatever. At the same time, fellas, Brock Lesnar gets eliminated. And we
unceremoniously too.
Exactly. He gets eliminated. One of the biggest proponents in Royal Rumble in the match gets eliminated. And we just scoff over it as if it never happened. Because because Triple H wants to put Jey Uso in a position where he's yeeting with the fans rather than not paying attention to the match of the Royal Rumble where Brock Lesnar gets eliminated and no one gives a shit. That was one of the worst small signature eliminations that I've ever seen to a big time star. People can say whatever they say about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar did not deserve that in terms of how he was being portrayed, because you lessen him as a character and a competitor in the Rumble match, and you did him dirty in a way that it just scoffs him over like he's nothing, like he's damaged goods. So the fact that Roman Reigns is looking at it from not only from his perspective, but for people like us, that how we see it, Triple H is not doing his thing, and it goes back to it. It brings me back to John Cena and Roman Reigns. I'm still here because you can't do your job, right? And that says a lot based on this current predicament in WWE, because it's like, think about this, fellas. If it wasn't for Roman Reigns winning, would we really give a damn about WrestleMania? No matter who won, because that's a legitimate question. Even with you, if it was Gunther, bro. The way things are shifting right now towards WrestleMania, the lack of hype, the lack of consistency and everything, nobody would have gave a damn if Gunther or any other superstar won outside of Roman Reigns.
I agree. Yeah, 100%,
And that says a
100%.
lot, bro. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. What was crazier was just the way they handled some of their up and coming stars in that same Rumble match. You guys remember what happened to Braun Breaker as soon as that bell rang, right? Now I get it.
bro,
It was a means to. I can see where they're coming from. That does not mean that I'm okay with what happened, though. I
I
get it.
agree.
They really believe Seth is coming back. He's going to be healthy in time, cleared in time for WrestleMania. So they're teasing Rollins and Braun. But
Yes.
that being said, like there could have been so much more effective ways to do it without hindering Braun's momentum right now.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I'm glad that you brought that up, because I want to say this to a point where, like, it's becoming mundane and predictable. Do you guys realize that's the fourth time? Like, I'm talking about the hooded figure shit. Do you realize that's the fourth time in less than 4 months? In 4 months that you use that same hooded figure, a cosmic angle, whatever.
Yeah, the rinse and repeat bullshit.
The rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lazy. It's sad. Sometimes, like when we bring up your predecessor like Vince doesn't do the same thing twice. When
I don't
he
know
makes
about that.
Well,
okay, you can make a case. You can make a case. You can make a case.
I
But
think we've crapped on him many times in the past because of that reason. But yeah,
you know what? You're right about that. But in terms of that segment, the oversaturated rinse and repeat method of the hooded figure or whoever that is, it just validates as lazy booking, lazy writing. You're running out of ideas, right? To a point where, like, it's predictable. It's to a point where now we're looking at WrestleMania, I'm like, okay, it's like, okay, here it is. There's no hype for WrestleMania. It's inevitable. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. This person's gonna win. This person's gonna win. To a point where there's no shock value. There's no shocking moment or possible elevation of anybody. It's just a show to be a show of WrestleMania. Mark my words that if people thought the Royal Rumble was bad because it only had 25,000 views, WrestleMania is next year, and we can't make a legitimate argument that it's going to be good. Hell, we don't even know what might pack the arena based on our
No, I
everything's
mean,
point,
going
bro.
down.
I think it wasn't it sold out last night, despite how it looked visually with the lighting and everything.
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I
Like
can't.
That's
people
what they
were
said.
posting no, like people were posting pictures, like people in attendance in Saudi in the venue, and it was pretty packed from what I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah, after like
yeah.
the
It was.
first.
I think it's just from what we saw, the lighting is
The lighting
it
that
was
was
kind
awful.
of crazy. Yeah. But I will say this: look, we can sit here all day, all night, and go back and forth with what the E and what their intention are, but money speaks, man. And
Yeah.
the product is suffering because there are corporate people in there that only care about the money. They don't care about the optics of how creatively it looks, and the product suffers because of that, right? I mean, we're
Yes.
still talking about it, but we're not really we're not speaking. We don't have raving reviews about the product, and I don't foresee that happening this year either. So, Ricardo, to harken back to what we spoke about at the beginning of the year, last month, the
Yeah.
first show of last month, where you said that you're expecting a bounce back from Triple H.
Yeah, it's not looking
After
good right
one
now. I ain't
month,
going front, bro.
after
Yeah,
1 month,
not a strong start.
yeah, after 1 month, buddy, I don't think it's happening, man. I don't think it's that.
Mhm.
It's early, but bro, I don't think
It's
it's
not looking.
happening this year, man.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now. But the fact that your own stars are calling you out, your main event stars are calling you out, says a lot. But
Oh,
speaking
listen,
of, yeah,
unless it's a work, like there's always the outside chance that's the case. Like, and they just incorporated that into why Roman won.
right,
Yeah.
Like that's just part of what I guess his arc is this time heading into Mania.
right. But it's 50-50 on how you look at it. But I feel you. So speaking of WrestleMania, is obviously they are struggling right now in terms of building WrestleMania the right way, how WrestleMania feels reactionary versus long term planned. It feels like the over reliance of part timers and nostalgia, especially the part timers. Like that, it's crazy. And the lack of title matches and titles, the lack of titles being elevated to a point where it's to the point where the story has reached certain stories has reached its peak and it's no longer can evolve. Right. So why do you personally think, Abba, I'm gonna start with you, that they are struggling to build WrestleMania the right way?
Are we just talking WrestleMania right now, or after everything
Just
we've seen with the Rumble, or just like their booking, their I guess their week to week programming, everything we're seeing?
well, the way that they're trying to build for WrestleMania. Like
Hmm.
go through like a myriad of ways, but because the way how everything is looking right now, like to be honest with you, they should have been starting to build WrestleMania since Survivor Series, and they haven't done it. They're starting like now. You feel me?
No, you're right.
Like
Okay. Yeah. So to pertaining to your point, and sorry to interrupt, but
no,
I
you're
want to
good,
get
bro.
this point across. What I saw, one of the biggest takeaways I got coming out of the men's rumble match last night that we all got to see was they really did not give like all that much attention when it comes to starting to book towards your top storylines for Mania. So what I mean by that is we got some of the obvious stuff. Yes. Was it the most ideal way to get to these points? Seemed what I said about Seth and Braun and building to that one-on-one match, that feud at Mania. If Seth is healthy to come back, which it seems like they believe he will be, that came at the expense of Braun, as I stated earlier. That's one. That's one example. Then you also have Cody and Drew. Drew obviously costed Cody the match, hit him with the Claymore on the ring apron, eliminating him from the match. Either that builds to the predictable Cody and Drew one-on-one title match, which doesn't excite me. I know it definitely doesn't excite either of you guys or really anybody watching this, maybe two people that are going to end up watching this episode. And if that's the case, God bless you guys. But, or either that or they end up doing the triple threat that's long been rumored, adding Jacob Fatu into the mix, right? Either or, like nothing really screams WrestleMania main event, or if it doesn't main event, then WrestleMania World Championship match. None of that screams that case. And that really is a shame because I do believe Drew McIntyre, if handled well and ideally, I honestly think he could have been a main eventer and nobody would bat an eye. I mean that. At his peak, at his best, I mean. Now, those two matches out of the way, there was another one that they really did drop the ball on. And this was the most disappointing aspect of the men's Rumble match for me, what I saw. The Brock Lesnar Obafemi tease, right? They teased that potential matchup. They got into the ring. They went at it for a bit, right? They took each other down with some hard hitting moves. And then Lesnar just tosses Oba like he was nothing. Like he was literally just any other guy on the roster, any other mid card, lower card superstar. And they just treated it like it was no big deal. Like Oba didn't spend almost 45 minutes in the match on the number one at the number one slot, no less, eliminating like 5-6 different guys. And then they unceremoniously dumped Lesnar out by having Cody and LA Knight clothesline him out of the ring during the Jey Uso yeeting session over there. God, was that bad? And that goes to one of my biggest problems with this company. They do not know how to they don't know like how to truly build the stars in a way that is going to be effective to getting them over in the long run. Like they'll start doing it with someone like Braun Breaker, and then they'll really pump the brakes on this guy. See what they did with the CM Punk stuff, the world title match they did at the very start of the year on that Raw episode. They didn't give it to him then. I honestly think they should have just said F it and strapped the rocket to this guy's back from that point on. And you start the year off hot with a young world champion that we've never seen before in this company to carry us into the new year, because Braun he's someone I can honestly rely on, or not rely on, at least to the point where it's like, I can trust this guy to be my world champion for right now, because he's on fire right now. He gets a great reaction, and he's gotten consistent reactions. He's got an explosive moveset. He's honestly like, you can compare him to like a Goldberg or a Batista from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and nobody would bat an eyelid. Like he really has that star-making potential in him. But then look what they've been doing the last few weeks. Yeah, they've kind of given him back a little bit of his heat by feuding with Adam Pearce, placing him at odds against him, the Raw GM. But it's more like a vision thing. It doesn't even seem like it's really going to go to anything. It's not like Adam Pearce is going to come out of retirement necessarily and give us that one-off match, and Braun just obliterates him.
Well, Alba, sorry to interrupt, bro.
Yeah.
Just to clarify your point, the title match that he had with CM Punk, because Kenny said this, and I completely agree with this. The loss to CM Punk that he had on Raw, and I was there. I actually bought tickets to see him win the title. Was, as of right now, is the most damning thing that they've done to this man's career. It's like you
just
can't come.
You're saying,
yeah, you can't come back from that. It's hard to come back to what they did to him on Monday so far, right? Because it's like, by you losing to Punk clean, where do you go from here? And you cannot be a box office main eventer, in which he is, to make us fans believe that he's not championship material by not taking advantage and capitalizing on a championship win that he needed to have. And the fact that he didn't do it and hasn't gotten the title as of late, and they're throwing him around like as if he's in a beef with Adam Pearce, not winning the championship, getting eliminated at number 2. It's like, what are we doing to this man? You're self-sabotaging this man's career right now, and it ain't right.
No.
You know what the sad thing is, honestly? Yeah, Kenny, go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I just lost it. Yeah, go ahead.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me know when you get it back. I'm sorry, Ricardo. What was the question again? You're talking about what they need to do, like why they having a tough time with WrestleMania?
Yeah, why they're struggling to build WrestleMania.
Okay, guys, this one is very, very easy. Okay, it's very, very easy. Road Dogg, Michael Hayes, and what was the name of that dumbass
Bruce Pritchard.
VP?
Bruce Pritchard.
Oh yeah, Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard, yeah, that's the big one.
And that Triple H guy. Yep, that's why. Okay, guys, it's not difficult at all. Okay, we've seen this story time and time again. Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. With this crew, with those 4 guys that we just mentioned, as long as they are in that room, it's over. It's over for all of us. We will never, ever have a WrestleMania from the top of the card to the bottom of the card that makes sense. There might be a few matches here and there that, okay, that makes sense. But from top to bottom, yeah, we're never going to have that match. Because, guys, a company like this, that's closely and tight-knit in terms of their construction, right? Where it's family, right? It's very difficult to get out of your own way. They are their worst enemy. Okay? You are as bad, like you're as good as your worst booker. And on that, I don't even know who the worst is out of the 4 we just named. The guy that's enabling all of this bullshit, right? Or the guys that don't give a fuck about their jobs and actually come in, just collect the check and go home. I don't know.
So
Go ahead.
sorry, man, but I just want to just add to your point real quick. I'm more inclined to answer your question. So I'm more inclined to believe it always starts at the top. It has to be
Yep.
Hunter
Yep.
himself.
Exactly. Because it starts with him, right? And I'll tell you this: if Triple H actually had good writers in there, he wouldn't be in this position right now.
Of course.
He would not be in this position. We would be looking at him and say, just like we looked at him in NXT, he was a visionary, right? It's what got him into this job in the first place. It's what got him into that seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my belief is that we looked at Triple H as really an architect, right? Someone that knows how to put these pieces together or people in the right place to make the show successful, right? And we didn't get that here. So the reason why WrestleMania is going to be dog shit, the reason why, the Royal Rumble was dog shit, the reason why the build up to WrestleMania will be dog shit is because of Triple H, the worst booker I have ever seen.
God, you got to make a t-shirt out of that, man.
Yo, that is the hill that I'm going to die on.
I just might, bro. I got you on that. I got you, bro.
We got to do
Worst
it, man,
one
for the
ever,
next
bro.
meetup.
The worst one
Because
ever. I can't you see this shit. And you're like, oh well, this is what we do. When we do what we do, it's magical. Oh my god, this is gonna be spectacular. Oh my god, this is gonna be EU era. Oh my god, you guys are in for what's the word that he likes to use? It's gonna be game changing.
Expect a lot of surprises tonight.
Yep, expects a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Dude.
Bullshit. Wow, Brie Bella. Wow, great surprise.
And you know what the crazy thing is, bro? You know what the crazy thing is? They weren't even chanting for her. They were chanting for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
So
my man Bryan Danielson being the most over person in the women's
person. Yep.
You can't write.
They weren't even chanting for her in the first place. So I'm just at a loss for words, honestly. Because at this point, right? Mm-hmm. I got people arguing with me that Triple H isn't that bad, and I'm like, okay, think about it for a second. Think about it, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, right? Think about it for a second. You have a company, right? Let's say someone your mentor. He's in that seat. He's the leader of the company, right? And for decades, all people did was complain that he didn't do this, that he didn't do that, that he didn't do this, that he didn't do that, and that you needed to be in charge. And then your mentor retires, right? Your mentor retires, and he gives the keys to you, right? You then take the keys, right? And leave the same people that have been in charge while your mentor was in charge, right? In power. And then you go and take the seat of your mentor. Now you're the leader of the company now, right? Now everything that happened, every deal, every
decision, everything.
Every decision, the culture, right?
Yeah.
Everything remained the same. It's just basically you being replaced. Like they basically just replace your mentor with you, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were an employee of that company, how would you feel?
Oh, I'll be tight.
How would you feel?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got 25 more years of this shit, right? And I dealt with your predecessor for over 25 years. Now I got to deal with you two and your bullshit. Yeah, he's worse. He's worse because you have only as good as your worst player. Period. And if you can't have the wherewithal to say there are people in this writing room that are detriment to our product, that are killing our product, literally. And we need to get some people in here. We need to get people of color in here. We need to get people that understand what we do. We need to get people that don't rely on past failures.
Yeah.
Or past success. We need to get people in here that fucking get it.
Are true, real, passionate wrestling fans too.
They need fresh faces. Yeah, because you see,
they need fresh faces. They need fresh ideas, and that's what happens. That's what. Listen, man. This happens in politics. This happens in corporate
business.
This happens
everything.
everywhere.
Yup.
This happens everywhere. So I'm not saying that this is new. It's not new. But if you really want the E to get this shit together, they're gonna have to make some tough decisions. They're gonna have to fire some people that have been there for over 30 years.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to let them go.
It's very good that you say that, because like we go back to the NXT days, because he had William Regal on his left, Dusty Rhodes to his right, because you actually had people that were just not only creators, but they got it. They got the system. They knew what was good, what was bad, what was ugly, right? So the fact that Triple H has nobody in his team in order to do that, it goes back to your.
Can I just say this?
Yeah,
bro. NXT, when you look at how they're able to replicate success, if you look at people who work within the performance center, right? Those are the same crew that work these NXT shows. So Fit Finlay is there, right?
Yeah.
All of these legends that we know, that we grew up watching, all of them are there, training the young guys, right? All of them are there. So Shawn Michaels was there, right? Like, these are the crew that Triple H had, like, on his team.
Yeah.
And you go from that to like a Michael Hayes. Bro, there is no comparison. There is no comparison. Shawn Michaels is he's 30 times better than anything Michael Hayes could ever produce in his fucking life.
Yeah, it's funny because it's also true.
Yeah.
Like these guys in NXT are fucking heavy hitters, man. They are legends they're students of the game.
Not to mention Sean appreciates women's wrestling. He really does.
Yeah.
And guys like Michael Hayes and fucking Road Dogg and Bruce Prichard, they don't get it. They do not get it. They have been coddled for so long, right? They're even seeing them just sitting in that fucking room and fucking talking about fucking Gunther losing to fucking Pat McAfee was fucking crazy. Like, this is the shit that we're actually seeing. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, everyone knows. Like, it's just like in football. Like recently, just in case for whoever football fans, when John Harbaugh was let go of the Baltimore Ravens, it's time when you need a new voice, and that's exactly what happened with the Ravens. That needs to happen with WWE creative. Triple H needs a new team. He needs a new team. He needs a new team. He needs everything.
Listen, sell it to Saudi. Okay, sell the company to Saudi. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. I don't want.
We had that scare like last year, 2 years. No, I know, 2-3 years ago. I remember
2 to 3 years ago. Yeah,
I bought them out. Yeah.
And they still can.
Bro, I do not want Triple H working this shit again. I do not. Saudi Arabia, I need you to fucking save us, man. Buy these motherfuckers out, bro. I'm done. I am fucking done, bro.
Wouldn't you argue, my guy? Wouldn't you argue though that we'll just get more of the same like we did last night with that show?
Yes, but we see, and here's the part this is what I have in response to that.
Yeah, actually, do
Triple H was the devil.
I want to hear it.
Triple H, and this is what I said in defense of Vince. Vince was the devil I knew. At the end of the day, I knew Vince was the fucking devil. And you know what? He had his great moments, right? Over the course of his 30+ years run.
Yeah.
And he had some bad times, right? But for the most part, it was really he really did his job. He created new stars consistently.
Every year.
Most of the main events on WrestleMania were must see. Right?
Yes.
He had really big stuff. Yeah. Right. He had really big stuff. Even if the mid card or the start of like the lower card matches weren't that good, he always made sure that the marquee match was there.
He even made two ladies matches main event Mania twice. Like,
hey, look,
come on.
All I'm saying is this. With that said, we knew exactly what Vince did. We knew exactly what he was going to do. We knew exactly what his tendencies were. He was the devil I knew. When Triple H took over, when everybody was clamoring for the new era, this is a new era. Oh my God, we're saved. This is so much better. He was the devil I didn't know. Saudi Arabia is the devil I know. I know what they're going to do. I know this product is going to be shit if Saudi buys it. But guess what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I've seen the bull. Because Michael Hayes ain't gonna be in charge. Road Dogg ain't gonna fucking write for SmackDown. He's not head writer for SmackDown. Bruce Prichard won't be head producer producing shit. Okay, I need new voices in that building. We need new voices in that building. And if that means Saudi buys it, and changes the way things are going, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But we are tired, bro. I am fucking tired of saying the same bullshit for over fucking 3 years, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. If I wanted another Vince, guess what? I would have clamored for another Vince. He's doing the same thing that Vince did for a long time, really. So that makes him, to me, worse than Vince. Because he basically looked at what Vince did and said, oh, yeah, that looks good. They need more of that. Worse.
Yeah, the worst parts of Vince's
Yep.
creative run.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's not even doing it right. Because who the fuck doesn't create new who the fuck doesn't create a new star in 3 years, bro? Who?
That's a problem. That's a problem.
And there's some, and you know what? And you know what's crazy? There's some guys in the fucking comment section, right? Of the Wrestling Hypothesis comment section on TikTok saying that Rhea Ripley, right, was a Triple H star. No, the fuck she wasn't. Don't give me that bullshit. She was not a fucking Rhea Ripley was that girl before Triple H came onto the scene. Okay, she was that girl. So don't give me that bullshit about how Triple H made her. Triple H did not make Rhea Ripley.
Well, hold on a second. That's a very interesting person we're talking about in Rhea. When Vince was in charge, up until he wasn't, we had Rhea. She had a nice. She was one of the big top faces in that women's division on Raw, right? She had her Mania moments, won a few titles, feuded with top stars.
She was already a star.
Yeah, exactly. She was already like getting there,
right.
At least becoming a star that we know her as today. But would you argue that she didn't really reach that next level until after she became a heel in the Judgment Day? Because that was around the time Triple H took over. You could argue when she was winning the Rumble, when she had that Charlotte match in Mania.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
That's when I feel like she really hit her peak as a top female star.
Okay, who was responsible for the Judgment Day?
It was Vince McMahon.
Okay,
the original idea of it. Yeah,
right. Along with Edge, right?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, that answers my question right there. Not a Triple H creation. He is not responsible for Rhea Ripley's rise to stardom. He's not responsible for anything she did. That Judgment Day creation, that was all Vince. All Triple H is doing, and he's failing miserably, by the way, because the Judgment Day ain't shit right now. Okay, all he's doing right now is just piggying back of what Vince did. I need to see him make a new star. And what I mean by new star is give someone the championship and get the fuck out the way. That's what I mean. Like, give someone the championship and get the fuck out the way and let them cook.
Okay, what would you say about Dominic Mysterio then, if we're talking about the Judgment Day?
He would be,
because he didn't become a heel until Triple H took over.
Dominic Mysterio will be the best. So no, I give you that one. Dominic Mysterio will be the best person for Triple H to push to be a big time star, right?
Hold up. See, here's the thing.
Like, he would be up there. You'd have to put him in the conversation.
Dom, Dom main event in WrestleMania. How's that going? How would that go?
Well, it's not. Well, we're not talking main event WrestleMania.
We understand
that. Wait. But see, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. When I say star, right? I mean, you can go into main WrestleMania and main event one. You could go into a SummerSlam and be the marquee main event. You could go into the Royal Rumble and be the main event, or fight for the WWE Championship. Ain't there yet.
I agree with you there, but let me ask you this then. I'll rephrase it differently. Dominic is not a star in your eyes?
No, not yet. Not yet. He has to be able to carry. He has to be able to carry the company on his back. When they say, I'm gonna make you a star, I'm gonna give you the championship, and you're gonna carry us to the promised land. Okay,
I see what you mean.
Dom is not a star. Dom cannot do that yet because they haven't trusted him to and put him in that.
Yeah, but that's like. But I would argue that's like a next level. Wouldn't you guys argue that's like more so? If we're talking Mania main events consistently, SummerSlam main event consistently, or at least fairly consistently, isn't that like just like next level creme de la creme face of the company at that point? If they're doing it at a consistent basis,
no, not
Thank
really.
you so much for asking me that
because
question.
I feel like a star, it's probably like a tier just right below that. Where it's they're a consistent presence. They're getting championships regularly. They're being featured in top programs fairly often. It's like you can argue that's with Dom.
I love that question, and I'll answer. I'm
asking honestly too.
I got you, and I'll raise you this one then. Cena, right? You got Cena. You got. Let's see. You got Randy, right?
Yeah.
Cena and Randy, right? Take those two out. Can Triple H main event? Actually, Triple H in there too. Put Triple H in that category. From 2008 all the way to 2015. Put Triple H in that category too. Those three, right? Those three that we just mentioned are in a class by themselves. We're not talking about those three, right?
Agreed. Yes.
Can Chris Jericho main event SummerSlam consistently?
No.
I have to think about that, but
you're
I'm
crazy.
leaning more towards no.
Ricardo, you're fucking crazy for that.
You say
can Chris Jericho main event of WrestleMania consistently? Be the marquee build.
Talent-wise, he can be, but it's
okay.
WWE's
can he main event?
Hot and not very up and down.
Dude. I understand. Would you say Chris Jericho is a star?
Yes.
Okay. So Chris Jericho is
capable. Right,
if you give Chris Jericho the championship and say, I need you to main event the next 3 SummerSlams, can he do it?
Sure.
Yes. Okay.
Can he do it?
Can he do it? Right. Can he do right? Okay. Exactly. In his peak. Can he do it consistently to the point of where Oh, you're talking about right now? No, bro, I'm not talking about right now, man.
Come on, Jericho the last few years, yeah.
I misunderstood.
Anyway. So Chris Jericho, we agree. Chris Jericho can do it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. How about Rey Mysterio? Can Rey Mysterio consistently be a main event at a SummerSlam? 3-year stretch.
I think he can.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Okay. So can how about this? Can Edge do it?
Yes.
Can Batista do it?
Yes.
Sure.
Can The Undertaker do it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels.
What
yes.
about Jeff Hardy? Can Jeff Hardy do it?
If he lays low on the drugs, yes.
Dude, I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
I would say yes. 2008, 9, and 10.
So here, besides Cena, Orton, and Triple H, we had many people, right?
Okay.
I just think we had a lot of guys that were capable of main eventing SummerSlams, Royal Rumbles, anything. Really. We had guys. Yeah. So what the fuck is Triple H's excuses now? Right? And that's my this is where it gets so easy for me to just shit on people that are defending this man. Like, you have no idea. And it's this fucking Gen Z years, man. You have no fucking idea how deep the fucking roster was. We had Kurt Angle, fucking Eddie Guerrero, JBL, bro. Like, we had Mysterio, Batista, John Cena on the same fucking show, bro. On the same fucking show. Like, do you have any idea how deep that roster went?
Bro, they had
one brand, literally.
No, bro. But the thing is, based on the amount of depth that Vince McMahon had for I would say about over 3 decades, you actually had the main eventers were the mid card. That was actually the main event. That was insane.
Right,
yeah. And you know what? That's another thing, right? That's another thing. And I said this to you guys, and I know you guys can remember this. When you have stars going after mid-card titles, it elevates your show to a certain degree that you can't really quantify. Look at Becky Lynch. Yeah. Look at Becky Lynch. Absolute star, right? She's in the main event scene, absolute star. You put her in the mid-card with the IC title, that is probably by far a top 3 most important title in the company right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period. Just because she has it, right? And just because she's bringing credibility to it. Remember when Rey Mysterio and Eddie was fighting for the mid-card titles? Huh? Y'all
when they won
the
tag team championships. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when you guys remember when Chris Jericho was fighting for the IC titles, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
That's right.
So and that's the thing, right? Like, it's not just creating stars for your main event. It's making sure that when a guy like Trick Williams is a star, it's making sure that when he wins the IC title or the United States Championship, it means something. It fucking means something, right? And we haven't gotten that in the Triple H era. You can make a case that Ilya, right, had that. Like, you can make a case that Ilya had that thing about him, but that was lazy booking. He wasn't involved in any feuds, right?
Yeah.
Gunther was different. Yeah. Right? But Ilya wasn't involved in any feuds or anything like that. But I will say this, right? Until they rid themselves of the fucking cancer that is in that writing room, we will never get a 2 or 3 year stretch close to peak Vince era. I don't think we'll see the days of having 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, right, that can main event any show WrestleMania is included, right? That can main event any show, WrestleMania is included. On this roster, if we still have the same group of writers in that room.
Yeah, and not to mention about that, all the guys that's currently on today's roster are more talented than they were back then. Like,
yep, he got more talent.
That's true. That's very true.
He got more talent.
He has a lot more talent on both ends, men.
He's
and
doing
women.
less. Think about it. He's doing less with more.
More, yeah.
How sad is that?
You're doing less with more. You're doing less with more talent. Where that's why he's worse than Vince. People don't fucking realize this. That's why he's worse.
Yeah.
He has way more talent than Vince ever did.
Yeah.
And he's doing worse. What? Like, what? In what world does that fucking make any sense, man? And there are people online that will argue the fact, oh my God, no, he's doing fantastic. No, he's not the worst booker. No, he is. By every single fucking metric. The shows are bad. The ratings have never been as bad as they have been. Ever. All-time lows. In every single facet of every single metric that you measure ratings in. Worse. All-time worse. And this is the kind of shit that we're supposed to be okay with.
Yeah.
When we evaluate what you do, what you put in front of us, when we evaluate that, what the fuck are we supposed to look at? Your record as a fucking father? No. No, listen, I am not saying Triple H is a bad person. I'm saying
a wrestler.
Listen, I'm not saying Triple H is a bad father. I'm saying he's a bad booker. He's by far the worst I've ever seen because he's done less with more. Period.
And the fact that you debate. Yeah, bro, and the fact that you brought in Powerhouse Hobbs, you can't even make a legitimate argument. He's going to be elevated, and he might end up worse than he was in AEW. Bro, it goes to show you that, like,
Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be in catering in 3 weeks, bro. He's going to be in catering in 3 weeks, bro. Period.
Hey, you might be
saying, pair him up with Trick. I could book the shit better than Triple H. Mark my words,
bro.
This is literally how we just book Hobbs. Book it safe. Yeah, exactly. Hear me out for a bit. I would just have Hobbs pair him up with Trick Williams. He is his bodyguard. Honestly, I would just do that before he gets lost in the shuffle. Trick's over. Powerhouse Hobbs, he could be over as a result by association. Just do it. You establish 2 stars that way, at least ideally. But knowing this company, we know how that usually turns out.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen of what Triple H will possibly do next, or possibly might mess up. And guess what? We're gonna go right back to this conversation about what's going to happen with this man. But in other news, since AJ Styles lost to Gunther, well, in terms of his retirement, and he is finished with the WWE now, this quote-unquote retirement feels different for me, because if it was a legitimate retirement, legitimately, we wouldn't be hearing ramblings or rumors of him doing his phenomenal retirement tour in TNA, right? Because when AJ Styles lost against Gunther the other day in the Royal Rumble, he would take off his gloves as a sign of he officially retired, but he put him back on and did his phenomenal sign as always, his insignia. So that would bring up the question as he may be retired in WWE, meaning he might not do another match in WWE, but he will have a phenomenal retirement tour in TNA, in which honestly I don't think I would have a problem with, because you started in TNA, you ended in TNA, right? He was the one that built TNA the way it is today, or it was back then when they had elite mega stars around that era. So I personally believe that AJ Styles will really do his phenomenal retirement tour in TNA, and will obviously finish this year in 2026. I really believe that. He's going to retire in TNA. He's officially done with WWE, and he will have a lot more freedom and reign in TNA than he's ever had in WWE, because he has power in TNA. So that's my take on it in terms of AJ Styles retirement.
Going to New Japan afterwards before WWE, further establishing he's exactly that, one of the best in the world. I mean, I don't know what Kenny's going to say with what AJ does and what his prediction is, but I guess I'll be the bold one. He's probably going to AEW. And the reason I say that is because AJ has minced no words when it comes to his stance on when he plans to retire, which is definitely this year. Whether it's what we got last night, as early as that, first month out of the year, or he goes till the very end, like John Cena did with December last 2 months ago, 2025. AJ can do whatever he wants. He's his own person, obviously. Whatever he feels is best for him, that's what he'll obviously do. But I just think of it as AJ just has a ton of friends and a lot of old wrestling buddies in AEW in Tony Khan's promotion. You know, not to mention guys like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and just a bunch more people. And honestly, not even just the old friends, like just newer talent. He would, I'm sure he would love to get into the ring with and have great matches with. That's why I think that there's definitely at least a decent chance that we could definitely see Styles be all elite and, you know, debut with them like Ciampa did the other day. But it's going to be to much more fanfare because, all due respect to Ciampa, I really wish he was a bigger star. But the way WWE booked him wasn't
It's
the
very
case.
funny. It's
AJ is
it's
going to be a game changer, at least for this coming year. For that
It's very
company.
It's very funny. Before you go to Kenny, sorry to interrupt, just in case. It's very funny that you brought up Ciampa. The second he left WWE, he's now a TNT champion, and it makes Kenny's point by giving people the belt, and you just go like, and because what Triple H sabotaged Ciampa, it was like, bro, Kenny would love this. There was at one point that this man Ciampa, we were actually the three of us. I actually remember having this discussion. We were having legitimate arguments that this man was on par with 2009 Randy Orton during his NXT days, right? That famous heel run that he had in NXT, right? And the fact that obviously injuries play a factor. We all know that. But the fact that I'm actually happy for Ciampa that he's actually champion. Kudos to him. Going back to AJ Styles, and I'll give it over to Kenny. I disagree with you, Abba, that he's going to AEW because I'm not gonna say I don't think it'll do him any good, but it goes to show over the past few months that like, because we've all seen it, that like father time is kicking in pretty hard, right? We saw a few matches where it's like he's not doing the same moves, he's slowing down, he's not what he used to be, obviously, of course, due to age. So I disagree with you that he's going to AEW and he would go to TNA because one, in TNA they'll take better care of him. He has a hell of a lot more control than he's ever had in WWE. He will go his way out the way he wants it rather than going on than going against Gunther at the Royal Rumble, which instead it should have been at WrestleMania, to a point where like it lessens his retirement. So I think I disagree with you by going to AEW. He's going to TNA to truly retire, and I think that's what happened with TNA. I mean, with AJ Styles.
Okay. I agree with both of you actually. I think he's gonna do both, and I also think you guys missed one. I think he is also going to wrestle in New Japan. I think he's doing a world tour on his last run.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think all signs point to him just at least making that trip because it's very difficult for like, and I think Cena did it prove that point in his retirement run where it's hard for you to create stories when you have a retirement tour because everyone wants to work with you, right? So that's why I think he's definitely going to take that route. He wouldn't have left the WWE this early in the year if he didn't at least have plans to wrestle elsewhere. So I think the general consensus in the IWC is that he's going to TNA, but I think he'll also go to AEW because he has a lot of friends over there, and I think he's also going to wrestle in New Japan this year. So,
but don't
before
you
the year's done, he's he's made all the tours, and we get to see him one more time in a New Japan wrestling ring.
I think it'll be hard for him to do that due to the fact that like they'll give him contracts for him to do and sign for X amount of years, maybe because despite they know I
can't hear you very well, man.
Can you hear me now?
On and off with your audio.
Can you hear me now? Am I good? No.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
How about now? No, nothing. All right, I guess you really can't hear me at all. Nothing at all.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. It was fine earlier.
Yeah. It was.
But Kenny, yeah, I could hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now
Okay.
it's kind of.
All right. Yeah, it was my mic.
Okay.
It was my mic. So pretty much, yeah. So as I was saying, like I don't think like in terms of going to TNA, New Japan, AEW, I think that'll be kind of hard for him because like despite that they know that he's on a retirement tour, I don't know if they could do like, because I personally don't know like 3-month contracts or stuff like that. I don't know how that would work. I think that'd be kind of confusing and
It's
a lot
match
to take
by
in.
match, bro.
Yeah.
It's not hard at all. It's
Took
not
the
hard
words
at
right
all,
out of
man.
took the
It's
words
not.
out of my
It's
mouth,
trust
man.
me.
Yep.
Right. It's not unprecedented
Okay.
that someone would come in for one match and then leave. Like that's not
Like
a crazy thing. It's not
like
beyond comprehension that someone would do that.
Okay. Okay.
Ricardo, the
Okay.
thing is, to add to Kenny's point there further, they know they know true and well this is his last year. Tony Khan, the New Japan
Mm-hmm.
guys, TNA, like they want this guy. They want this man on their shows, even if it's just a literal one-off. If Tony Khan brings him in, does a one-off with like someone like Hangman or Kenny Omega or Swerve or MJF, even how is that like? How could you say no to that? Even if it
Right.
never happens beyond that one episode,
Okay. Okay.
that's
I was
going to
just
bring in
confused.
viewership.
Mm-hmm.
I was just confused of like I don't know like on how they would do it. But okay, if it's match by match, then I'm like okay, then that would work.
Yeah, and keep
All
in
right.
mind this is not WWE. They're I'm sure they're
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
flexible with that stuff compared to
Oh yeah.
Right.
them over there.
Right. 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 But like yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. But that's it for the show, man. Like as I guess we're like the number one show that says that like well Kenny says the Triple H is the worst booker of God's green earth. I respect that the consistency, just like his hat says, no fucks given, just earned. So like so Kenny, I respect that, man. Stay consistency on that. Abba, so happy that you were here, bro. I missed the hell out of you, bro.
Oh, thank you,
Right?
man. I feel the love right back, man. I appreciate you guys.
Right, but again, this is episode is over. See you guys soon. On to the next one.
Yeah.